of Florida, where we cut taxes, reduced the size of government, reformed everything under the sun, and the state was lifted up. Our economy grew at over 4% per year for my 8 years. That story is yet to be told, and when I tell it, I think we're going to be in pretty good shape.
I think you're right. That story is yet to be told. I read your op-ed about 4% growth, and I want to talk to you about some of your policies. Jobs and growth, the #1 issue for the American voters today. How do you plan to create jobs, Governor?
First of all, we have to fix a convoluted tax code that has all sorts of carve-outs and deductions and credits. But what we need to do is eliminate all that as much as possible, lower rates as far as possible, a 20% corporate tax rate, full expensing of all capital investing. That would create high-wage jobs. It's not just creating jobs. The administration in the last few years, there have been jobs created, but they're low-income jobs. We need to have higher disposable income. And dramatic reform of our tax code is the first step. Dramatic change in how we regulate is the second part of this. And then embracing the energy revolution would be third. Fixing a broken immigration system. All of this has to be done in a comprehensive way to create higher growth and higher income for Americans.
Regulation is so important. And once again, we hear that over and over again from business people who say they're sitting on cash. They're not going to create jobs with this regulatory environment, from Dodd-Frank to Obamacare to the EPA, et cetera. In terms of the tax plan, Donald Trump talked about his plan last night. Says he wants to raise rates on the wealthiest of Americans. Is that part of your plan as well?
Not at all. We lower rates to 28%, but we put a cap on the deductions, which higher income Americans take advantage of more than anybody else. Under our plan, people in the 1%, the 10%, the top 20% pay proportionally a little bit more. Everybody gets a tax cut, though, which is the important thing. And if you're making 40 grand with a family of 4, you pay no income tax under this plan. People that looked at this, conservatives at least, suggest that it could create a minimum of 50 basis points, a half a percentage point of growth over the next 10 years per year. That's the kind of approach we need. This shouldn't be about high income or low income. It should be about high growth so that people can rise up again. You
have talked about 4% growth. Today, the IMF is out, Governor, saying 3.3% growth is just not realistic this year. And certainly next year, 3.8% is obviously not realistic at all. A lot of people questioned you're targeting 4%. What are we at right now, Governor? 2%? How are you going to get to 4%?
Well, I'll tell you what, we'll never do it in the age of Obama with higher taxes, more uncertainty, more regulation, more top-down driven approaches to everything. I mean, if you look at the regulatory climate today with the related to water, the rules related to carbon emissions, the rules related to workforce, the financial markets, we'll never grow at 4%. But if you liberate our economy and create an environment where people can pursue their dreams as they see fit from the bottom up, we could grow at 4%. We've done it in the past. I just reject this pessimistic view out of hand. I think the left wants slow growth because that means people are more dependent upon government. I reject that. I believe that people want to rise up. They want the tools to achieve earned success, and how we tax and regulate really matters.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think people just want opportunity.